The site of Birmingham Snow Hill station was formerly occupied by Oppenheim's Glass Works. This was demolished, but many parts of the building and machinery are believed to be buried underneath the station and car park. And during recent development work alongside the station, the area was designated as a site of architectural importance by Birmingham City Council. The station was opened in 1852 on the Great Western Railway main line from London Paddington to Wolverhampton Low Level and Birkenhead Woodside. Originally called Birmingham Station, it was changed to Great Charles Street Station, then Livery Street Station, and finally renamed Birmingham Snow Hill in 1858, with the Great Western Hotel added in 1863. It was never intended to be a main station, but the railway was prevented from reaching its original intended terminus at Curzon Street. London North Western Railway's engineer Robert Stephenson and solicitor Samuel Carter argued in Parliament that there would be safety risks in rival companies sharing the congested connection in their station. The original station was simply temporary wooden structure, consisting of a large wooden shed covered in the platforms. In 1871 it was rebuilt and replaced by a more permanent structure. The 1871 station had two through platforms and bay platforms at the Wolverhampton end, covered by an arched roof. Access to the station was from Livery Street from the side. Trains from the south arriving through Snow Hill Tunnel and was built by the cut and cover method, and in a cutting from Temple Road to Snow Hill. The cutting was roofed over in 1872 and the Great Western Arcade built on top. To cope with the expanding traffic, Birmingham Snow Hill Station was rebuilt again on a much larger scale between 1906 and 1912. The new station building had intended to be completed with New Street, which at the time was a much grander building than it was today. The rebuilt station contained lavish facilities, such as a large booking office with an arched glass roof and lavish waiting rooms with oak bars. The main platform area was covered by a large glass and steel overall roof. It consisted of two large island platforms containing 4 through platforms and 4 bays and terminating trains at the northern end. The through platforms were long enough to accommodate 2 trains at the same time, and scissoring crossovers allowed trains to pull in front or out from behind of other trains which stood in the platform, effectively creating a 10-platform station. The line from north from Snow Hill to Hockley was quadrupled at the time. However, at the cost of widening the twin-track Snow Hill Tunnel at the southern end was considered prohibitive. It was not large enough to cope with the capacity through the tunnel to accommodate all the services, and so, as a solution, Birmingham Moor Street was built as an overflow station at the opposite end of the tunnel to take terminated local trains towards Leamington Spa and Stratford-upon-Avon. The Great Western Hotel was closed at the same time, as guests complained of being kept awake by goods trains running underneath, and were converted into railway offices, and passenger entrance was provided on Colmore Row, which became the station's main entrance. As late as the mid-1960s, Snow Hill was still a major station, handling millions of passengers annually. However, in 1964, Snow Hill handled 7.5 million passengers, compared to 10.2 million at New Street. The electrification of the rival West Coast Main Line into New Street meant that British Railways decided to concentrate all services into Birmingham into one station, and Snow Hill was seen as the unnecessary duplication. In 1966, the decision was taken to end mainline services through Birmingham Snow Hill once electrification of the West Coast Main Line was completed, and divert most of the remaining services through New Street. Long-distance services through Snow Hill ceased in March of 1967. Snow Hill Tunnel closed to all traffic the following year, with the last train running on the 2nd of March 1968. Local trains towards Leamington Spa and Stratford-upon-Avon were terminated then at Birmingham Moor Street. Services to London, the West Country, Stourbridge and Shrewsbury were diverted into New Street, and the branch to Dudley was also closed. All that was left was a shuttle service of 4 trains a day using Class 122 rail cars to Langley Green, along with 6 daily stopping services to Wolverhampton Low Level. With this, as most passenger facilities in the station were withdrawn and virtually the entire site became disused to save for one bay platform, Snow Hill then acquired the unfortunate title of the largest unstaffed railway halt in the country. In March of 1972, these last services were withdrawn, and the station was entirely closed, along with the lines through Smethwick and Wolverhampton, with the exception of a single track from Smethwick West for Cooper's scrap metal works in Handsworth. Following closure, the derelict station was used for several years as a car park. It enjoyed a brief moment of fame in 1967 when it was the setting for a fight scene for the locally set TV series Gangsters. However, despite the public outcry, the Snow Hill building was never preserved. The Colmore Road facade was demolished in 1969, and the rest of the station was largely demolished in 1977, when the dangerous state of the building was revealed. The ironwork of the station roof was badly corroded in several places, and the unstable ground and foundations on which the station was built had caused it to slide downhill. A few items, including the original gates and booking hall sign, were saved and later used in Moore Street's restoration. The West Midlands Passenger Transport Authority had adopted the policy to restore cross-city rail services through Snow Hill since 1970s, a project which was completed in two phases. The first phase was completed on 5th of October 1987, when the newly rebuilt Snow Hill station opened for services to the south along with Snow Hill Tunnel. The rebuilt station was on a much smaller scale than its Edwardian predecessor, built with two island platforms giving four platform faces. The station architecture is a functional one rather than an ornate one. A multi-storey car park stands over the main platform area, meaning artificial light is required on the platforms. Like its predecessor, the main entrance is on Colmore Row. Some parts of the original station are still visible, notably the now sealed entrance with the Great Western Railway crest in Livery Street. Initially only stopping local services to Leamington Spa and Stratford-upon-Avon used the new station. Services to Moore Street, where the services had previously terminated, were switched from the former terminal platforms, which was then closed, onto two new built through platforms at the southern end of Snow Hill Tunnel, making it a through station to the adjacent tunnel mouth. In May of 1993, Network South East reintroduced limited stop services to London, initially a 2-hour frequency routed to London Marylebone instead of the pre-closure destination of Paddington. The service proved popular and was increased to an hourly frequency the following year, with Chiltern Railways taking over the service after privatisation. The second phase of the Snow Hill reopening project was completed on the 24th of September 1995, when the Birmingham to Worcester via Kidderminster line was reopened to Snow Hill. This allowed the resumption of services to Worcester Shrub Hill via Stourbridge Junction and Kidderminster, with the Jewellery Line project involved the reopening of the line between Smethwick West and Snow Hill, along with 3 brand new stations: Smethwick Galton Bridge, the Hawthorns and the Jewellery Quarter. In 1999, the line to Wolverhampton was reopened as a light rail tram line, known as the Midland Metro. Work began on the new entrance on Livery Street to give commuters access to the lower Snow Hill and Jewellery Quarter parts of the city in 2005, but it did not open for business until March 2011. The work had a projected cost of £9.94 million, but due to Centro's failure to apply for planning permission and severe technical difficulties, the cost rose to at least £17 million. Although construction and interior finishes work were largely completed by December 2010, legal disputes between London Midland, Network Rail and Centro caused delay at the opening of the station entrance by a year. The former tram terminus platform is intended to be returned to use for mainline trains as a fourth platform. However, as of 2020, little work had been conducted other than disconnecting and partially lifting of the former tram line. The fourth platform is now expected to be completed by 2026. So we'll get started here at Birmingham Snow Hill with 172339 and 172219. Working the 09754 West Midlands Railway service, Dorwich to Kidderminster. Departing next to the station is 172343, working the 0806 West Midlands Railway service from Stratford-upon-Avon to Worcester Street. Crawling up the incline is 172341 and 172337, working the 0807 West Midlands Railway Service from Worcester-upon-Avon to Whitlock's End. Propelling stock AL01 26 minutes late is 68010, working the 0748 Chiltern Railways Mainline Silver Service from Kidderminster to London Marylebone. Next to come up the hill is 172342, working the 0827 West Midlands Railway Service from Worcester Foregate Street to Stratford-upon-Avon via Whitlock's End. Another loco getting ready to make a lot of noise is 37403. Working in top and tail formation with vintage trains is 2189, working the 0819 service from Norwich to Cardiff Central, entitled the South Wales Explorer. Next to cruise up the hill is 172213 and 172101, working the 0837 West Midlands Railway Service from Stourbridge Junction to Dorwich. Going in the opposite direction is 172220, 172222, working the 0839 West Midlands Railway Service from Dorwich to Worcester Foregate Street. Penultimate working now sees the departure of 172331, working the 0854 West Midlands Railway Service from Leamington Spa to Kidderminster. And the final train of the session to depart is 172340, working the 0857 West Midlands Railway Service to Stratford-upon-Avon via Dorwich. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed what you saw, click on the 2 videos here at the end screen. Helps out the channel. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you are new and got this far. And we'll see you all in the next video, folks, wherever that may take us. We'll see you then, folks.